After the anime ended, Ippo's boxing journey continued in the manga where he kept rising to the top by defending his Japanese championship multiple times, defeating other national champions and even reaching the world stage. Things were looking good for him and it seemed like he was on his path to challenge the undefeated world featherweight champion himself, Ricardo Martinez. However, something did not seem right. At some point, Ippo's way of boxing suddenly changed. His fights became mostly one-sided where he neither dodged attacks nor blocked them. Instead, he tanked every single one with his head, absorbing all of the incoming damage. Despite consistently emerging victorious and climbing to the ranks on the world stage, the accumulated damage from each fight took a toll on him and consequently lost his two most important fights back to back. As a result, he retired from boxing and to this day, he still does not consider returning to the ring to challenge anyone. Many fans were disappointed with this decision. Some of you even commented that you quit the manga because Ippo retired from boxing and he was the reason why you initially read the manga. Most fans still do not know that he retired and want to seek the answer to how it all came to his retirement. In this video you will see that it's not entirely Ippo's fault for retiring, but several other characters carry the responsibility too. I will answer when exactly Ippo's boxing career started to decline, how it affected him and why he ultimately retired. After the anime ended, Ippo's journey continued from where he left off after the Sawamura fight. He defended his featherweight title against the ranked boxer Karasawa. In this match, Ippo showcased the difference between his skills and those of other boxers in Japan, demonstrating that he is beyond a national level boxer and is ready to challenge the world. He easily defeated Karasawa in 2 rounds with little effort, essentially dominating the match. Following this victory, Ippo received an offer he had been waiting for since the beginning of his boxing journey, an official match with Miyata for the OPBF title. It's crucial to consider how significant this moment is for Ippo. The reason he started boxing was to discover the true meaning of strength, and he believed that forming a rivalry with Miyata would grant him the answer he sought. Through each passing fight, they continuously pushed their boxing abilities to their limits in anticipation of the ultimate showdown they always wanted. Miyata represents Ippo's goal, which is why he is obsessed with him. Ippo sees Miyata the embodiment of the reason he started boxing, passion and motivation. Initially, Ippo wanted to retire after his fight with Miyata, believing that he would be satisfied and find the answer to what real strength truly means at the time. He did not care if he would win or lose, he just wanted this match to happen. However, Coach Kamogawa seemed to have different plans for him. The fight against Miyata for the coach was just a stepping stone before entering the world stage. Shortly after, Ippo had another title defense against a veteran with over 33 fights, Take. Take was the first southpaw Ippo faced and he knew he couldn't outbox Ippo by brute force. Instead, he utilized his extensive boxing experience to defeat Ippo both technically and psychologically. However, Ippo outsmarted him with his own strategies and ultimately delivered a brutal knockout in the end. Ippo's next match was scheduled to be against Miyata for the OPBF title and he was eagerly looking forward to it. However, unexpectedly Miyata showed up and confirmed to Ippo that their upcoming fight was cancelled due to his own revenge story arc that needed to be completed. I must mention that Miyata's fight against Randy Boy Jr. is the most disappointing fight in the series and I will definitely make another video discussing it in the near future. But for now, Ippo was in a state of ultimate disappointment and felt completely lost. All his ties to Miyata were severed and they would never face each other in the ring. Coach Kamogawa then suggested to Ippo to forget about Miyata and instead climb his way up to the world rankings to face Ricardo Martinez. To achieve this, Ippo needed to defeat other national champions, become the unofficial king of OPBF and secure a ranking in the world. So Ippo embarked on a journey to one day face Martinez in the ring. However, this is exactly when Ippo's boxing career started to decline. Ippo never had the desire to face off against other national champions, let alone the ultimate champion Ricardo Martinez. This was never his goal, it was purely what the coach believed was best for Ippo. The lack of this goal massively lowered his determination during his fights, which is evident when you analyze his matches against the national champions. Ippo's match against Jimmy Sisva was essentially a glorified deathmatch disguised as a boxing match, where both of them exchanged heavy blows to see who could endure the longest. Later on, Ippo's fight against Malcolm Ghetto was perhaps one of the most brain-dead bouts in the entire series. Ghetto's entire strategy involved extending his gloves, making it nearly impossible for Ippo to close the distance and causing continuous damage to the head, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. In the subsequent match against the last national champion, Wally, Ippo found himself dominated throughout the fight due to Wally's unpredictable fighting style. For 7 rounds, Ippo was continuously getting beaten up until Wally began to getting tired, because Ippo tapped him a few few times during the rounds. Ippo capitalized this on the 8th round, caught up to him and secured a close victory. It's evident that in these matches, Ippo had little strategy and defense to secure his wins. Ippo didn't want to keep on fighting because he wanted to box, rather it was to make the coach proud for shaping him into the person he had become. This is where the coach should have had a discussion with Ippo about whether he truly wanted to continue to box. Unfortunately, they failed to realize this lack of motivation early on and continued to defend the featherweight title one final time against a former lightweight boxer, Kojima. Ippo entered the fight more enraged than ever before because during their build-up, Kojima continuously trash-talked Ippo and coach Kamogawa. Kojima took advantage of Ippo's enraged state and claimed to have thrown a punch as heavy as 2 tons. Later, Ippo delivered a single powerful punch, resulting in perhaps the most recognizable panel of Ippo's career. After the match against Kojima, it became apparent that Ippo had suffered accumulated damage to the head. Unfortunately, not much thought was given to this at the time, which they should have. Following this bout, Ippo's next opponent was Alfredo Gonzalez, a boxer who had only lost to Ricardo Martinez in his career and was essentially considered a watered-down version of him. Ranked second in the world, defeating Alfredo would mean facing Ricardo Martinez afterwards. However, this did not happen. Alfredo completely dominated Ippo in the first half of the match, employing his strategies and techniques to their fullest while Ippo struggled to land a finger on him. Alfredo only began to fight recklessly later in the match, potentially risking a loss if he hadn't dominated the earlier rounds. After Ippo's second loss, Kumi confronted him about whether all this boxing, which took a toll on him, was really worth it. She suggested that Ippo could suffer from brain damage if he continued fighting for a goal he wasn't even determined about. In response, Ippo stated that if he were to lose again, he would definitely retire. So Ippo trained intensely for his upcoming fight against Antonio Guevara. However, the accumulated brain damage he developed over time started to become evident during his sparring matches and everyday life. Over time, Ippo became anxious that he may be indeed broken as a boxer. Despite these concerns, he did not let them stop him from fighting Guevara and proving everyone that he still had the determination and strength as a boxer. During the fight, Ippo's accumulated brain damage became evident when he was easily knocked down by jabs and lost his balance. Ultimately, Ippo suffered a heart-wrenching defeat and subsequently retired from boxing to avoid sustaining more damage that could lead to permanent brain damage. Ippo's downfall as a boxer could have been avoided if Ippo and coach Kamogawa took the time out from actively boxing and instead focused on their mental and defensive training more. But instead, we have the retirement arc where Ippo has improved significantly as a boxer that would make him a monster in the ring if he were to return to the ring once more. But what do you think ruined Ippo as a boxer? Share your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you have enjoyed this video then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Hajime no Ippo content. I'm the Reading Crow and thanks for watching.